Welcome back to the show. So I'm now joined with ex-convict Shaun to talk about his dark criminal past and about how it was being imprisoned in one of the most dangerous jails in the world. Shaun, welcome to the show.
Thanks very much for having me on.
Now, I did say to you, I'm pretty sure we're going to run out of time, so we'll try and cover as much as possible in this time that we have. So you're going to tell us some quite graphic things that happened in prison, but first of all, can you tell us how you got into the life of crime in the first place?
Yeah, I'm from a little industrial chemical manufacturing town in the northwest. And as a young person, I started following the stock market when I was 14. At 16, I made my first investment. So I'm telling all my mates, I'm going to go to America, be a millionaire in the stock market. That was my goal.
Yeah.
When raving began in Manchester, I was at Liverpool Uni and it made a big impression on me. And I thought, if I make money, I'm going to transfer this rave scene over as well. Which I ended up doing. I made more money than I had common sense, and I started people bringing the ecstasy pills over. So I take full responsibility for the SWAT team smashing my door down. Okay,
so you started dealing, drug dealing.
Yeah.
You were quite young at the time, weren't you?
I was in my 20s.
Oh, 20s.
Yeah, it started out with me buying ecstasy from my friends, and then I saw the business potential of it. I wasn't thinking about where it was all leading, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger.
Okay, so you weren't thinking about the future and consequences and things.
Yeah, I was emotionally mature. Obviously, it was selfish, I should have known better.
So then what happened after that? So you got busted?
Yeah, May 16th, 2002. Bang, 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 open the door. Me and my girlfriend were halfway to the door and boom, it just flies off the hinges.
Oh, God.
Get hands above your heads, get on the ground now. And then I'm arrested and I end up in the jail that's got the highest rate of death in America, where not only were the gang members murdering the prisoners, even the guards were murdering the prisoners.
Are you serious?
It wasn't my brightest idea to break the law in Arizona, no.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. But why that particular jail? Why did they, was it just because it was the closest one? Because you weren't exactly like a dangerous criminal.
Yeah, if you commit a crime in a certain jurisdiction, then you all go to the same jail. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, so can you tell us about some of the things that you experienced there?
Well, as soon as
quite harrowing.
As soon as I went in, I had to get used to the sounds of heads getting bashed against toilets, bodies getting thrown around, people getting carried out on stretchers. I was lucky. I'm not a big guy. I'm not a tough guy, but over 100 people arrested with me, including some of my bouncers from the rave. So they were looking out for each other.
Okay.
The gangs come up to you right away. It's all racial gangs. If you're white, the Aryan Brotherhood come up to me right away, ask me what my charges are, and it's on a little printout from the jail. Some charges are KOS, which means kill on sight, such as paedophile stuff. Other charges are SOS, smash on sight, such as drive-by shootings, because women and kids sometimes get killed.
Yeah.
And this is called convict justice. So if you've got a sex offence or anything like that, the gang tries to murder you right away. And then you have to go and meet the head.
And this is all known to people, and they just let it...
Well, I didn't know. I might have thought twice about getting involved in the ecstasy business if I'd have known. Yeah, and then you have to go and meet the head of the gang who explains all the rules. If someone calls you a punk, a bitch, or hits you, you must fight them on the spot, or else the whole gang will smash you. You must take showers, or they'll smash you for bad hygiene. You can't go make your friends with the guards, they'll smash you for snitching. You can't go sit at the table.
When you say smash you, you say to beat up, like?
Generally, the head of the gang, he has guys under him called torpedoes, and they're looking to commit acts of violence to earn their tattoos. That's how they rise up in the gang. The highest tattoo you can get in the gang, to be a full member, you have to murder someone. So if they send the torpedoes in on someone in a cell, all you hear is this thudding and the sounds of heads getting bashed and stuff. And next thing, someone's getting carried out on a stretcher with blood all over them. One guy I saw, not just blood coming out of his head, there was yellow fluid, like brain stuff. That was pretty early on. Yeah.
Okay, and how were you coping with all of this? Because it must have been a complete shock, because there you are sort of in your club, thinking that you're not doing anything so wrong, but then now you find yourself in this situation. What was going through your mind?
It's raw survival. Everything you think about in your everyday life, what I'm going to have for dinner, what I'm going to do tonight, all that kind of stuff, it's out the window. It's who can hurt me, who can protect me. That's all you're thinking as soon as you go in.
Yeah. And
what helped me cope was, I was blessed to have such good family support. A lot of prisoners have been disowned by their families because of drug use. A blog was started. My writing was smuggled out of the jail and put on the internet. And these blog readers, these kind people from all over the world, started to send me letters and books, and that really helped. Yoga and meditation. And I really tried to understand myself and my past behaviour, because drugs had put a cloud in my head that scrambled my decision-making processes. I was doing club drugs for 10 years and I didn't know that cloud was there.
Yeah.
And as soon as it lifted, the first thing I thought was, you know, my God, you know, how on earth are you still alive? Why did you go from being a normal model student, you know, from a loving family, to putting yourself in all these extremely dangerous situations?
And you were dealing with the mafia as well, weren't you?
Yeah, my competitor in the ecstasy market was Sammy the Bull Gravano. He was the underboss of the Gambino crime family, the head Italian, New York Italian mafia family, and he'd murdered 24 people. And his son later told me in prison he'd been dispatched as the head of an armed crew to kidnap me one night and take me out to the desert. And the only reason they'd missed us is because my best mate, Wildman, he'd got in a scuffle and we'd had to leave that club in a hurry.
Does this sound like you feel like you're watching a film here? It really does. It's like, oh my God, Shaun.
So I was putting myself in all these extremely dangerous situations because the drugs was telling me it was cool, it was a buzz, you're the man, and all this stuff. When in actuality, you know, I'm lucky to be alive, and that's why now I go into schools and to hope young people won't make my mistakes.
Okay, so how long did you spend in that prison? It was 26?
I was sentenced to 9.5 years. I served just under 6. The first 26 months was on remand, and that was in the jail. It's got the highest rate of death out of all of them.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
So how did you feel getting out eventually?
Getting out? Just like being able to walk down a high street and go into a store and buy a banana was the height of ecstasy for me. Just to, you know, be able to have choices over things again, to be able to sleep as long as I wanted and not be woken up, you know, at 6 in the morning, guards shining torches in your faces and stuff like that.
Yeah. Did you ever get beaten up in there?
Yeah, I got attacked. I was lucky, I never got any bones broken or teeth knocked out. I got moved to medium security about 2.5 years in. My first cellmate there, he was a serial home invader, torturer. He's breaking into houses, and his preferred method of torture is to take a hammer to people's kneecaps. And his welcoming statement to me was, I've got a padlock in a sock, I can smash your brains in while you sleep, I can kill you whenever I want. Really nice guy. Yeah, so he got his mate...
Just saying, talking about everything, so like, he's got a massive smile on his face, which is a good sign that, you know, you have moved on. Obviously, it was a horrific thing to go through.
I appreciate life now after
I can see that. You're just glowing.
Thank you. I do a lot of yoga as well.
All right, so tell us about this work that you're doing with kids now.
Okay, I go into schools and I don't preach at the young people, I just tell them my story and I grip them with the jail conditions, scare the living daylights out of some of them. But that makes them then receptive to my overall message, and at the end of it I come in with all of the consequences of the drugs and crime that I faced and general consequences. My mum had a nervous breakdown, my sister had counselling. I still see the hurt and pain on their faces that I caused them.
But you must be proud of what you're doing today, though.
Yeah, you know, because they see all the feedback from the students. I get constant feedback on Twitter, and I get to see it through their eyes, and I get parents from students requesting to meet me sometimes.
Brilliant.
They say stuff like, you know, we're lucky if we can get a grunt out of our kid when he comes home, but we wouldn't shut up about your talk, and it was the first time we could sit down and talk to them about drugs.
So you talk about obviously the conditions in prison, but you talk also about how the drugs affect. So you're sort of attacking it from both angles. Yeah,
I grip them with the jail stuff because, you know, there's entertainment value there. But then I come in with the important message at the end, because people who come in and say don't take drugs, drugs are bad for you, they just completely tune right out.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
So would you say like maybe the shock factor is quite a good way of helping kids?
It makes them pay attention and it makes them remember it because it goes deep into the subconscious.
Yeah. Okay. Now I know you've left out quite a few details because you said some of it's quite harrowing to talk about.
Yes.
But is there anything else that you can tell us about maybe how you got through things in jail and like how you kept yourself positive? You know, if you did.
One of the ways I got through was I had the protection of a guy called Two Tonys. After I got attacked, this guy stepped up and protected me. He was dictating me his life story. He was an Italian mafia mass murderer who left dead bodies from Arizona to Alaska. Now, they were all rival gangsters. He was doing 112 years. If you've only killed rival gangsters, you're at the top of the respect in the prison. There's a hierarchy amongst the murderers. If you've murdered a woman or a child, it's kill on sight. So he had respect from all the racial gangs, and I did have problems with the Aryan Brotherhood, but Two Tonys eventually made them go away.
Wow. And
he also taught me to appreciate the small things in life, and this is why I've got a smile on my face constantly, because his favourite book was A Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich, which was about a guy in the Russian Gulag, where they were working these people to death. And anytime the prisoners complained about anything where we were at, he'd say, you know, they're complaining about how the breakfast's cold. Where Ivan was, they were fighting over a fish eyeball in the soup.
Oh God, you imagine.
So when I wake up now, you know, there's a smile on my face because there's no dead rats in my food like we had it in there. There was no cockroaches crawling all over me at night times. Really? We really appreciate the small things and everything that we take for granted in the West where we've got it so good. After going through that, after losing absolutely everything, it's given me a good value system.
What do you love most about your life at the moment?
Just happy to be alive, you know. I wake up in the morning, I do some yoga. Sun salutation, stand on my head, do some meditation, and you know.
And if anyone's like tempted to start dealing drugs, what would you say to them?
I say it leads to the prison, police, mental hospital, or death. You know, I was worth a lot of money trading stocks, and I was emotionally mature, and I didn't need to be doing it. I was addicted to that party lifestyle, but I lost absolutely everything because of the foolish choices I made to get into drugs, the lure of that fast cash. If I hadn't have got into drugs, I'd probably be worth about 10 million right now. Instead, I'm, you know, rebuilding my life from scratch.
Shaun, thank you so much for sharing your story. It's really deep, and I'm sure it's helped many people. And all the best with everything you're doing with the kids and the schools and everything. Thank you so much. Wow, I don't know what to say now, but it's time for a break. But do stay tuned because up next, I'll be answering a question from a viewer, and of course, we have Chris Brown with the Self-Development Clinic talking about everyone has potential.